Welcome back to another episode of Foeonthefights. This is the prediction video for UFC Tsarukyan versus Gamrot. Okay, I made my picks on espn Plus. You can play the Fightnight Pick'em or whatever. And it says here, free to play, compete to win a free streaming of UFC 277. You can get that for free online, but wink wink, just kidding. Gotta pay for them, guys. Gotta pay for them. So let's get right into it. Vanessa Demopoulos versus Jin Yu Fry. Vanessa's at 20% picked. Jin Yu Fry is at 80%. And I went with Vanessa here. I think she's going to be hungrier, more confident, and I think she takes the fight to Jin Yu Fry. Fry is a veteran, and I think this is only Vanessa's second fight in the UFC. But I think she gets it done. The girl used to be a stripper. Now she's full of confidence, focused 100% on her UFC MMA career. And it should be a pretty competitive fight. It's the new age against a veteran. Jin Yu Fry has not been around forever, but she's definitely got more experience than Vanessa Demopoulos. And second, we have Brian Kelleher facing off against Mario Bautista. Okay. Brian's at a 24% right now. Crazy, he's the underdog, and Mario's a huge favorite at 76%. I picked Brian Kelleher in this one. This dude's a veteran who's still, in my opinion, reaching his prime. And against Mario Bautista, who's still relatively green, Mario, he's a big favorite somehow. And Brian's had mixed success recently. He tends to win these fights, though, against his less experienced guys. But he does lose against the higher-ranked featherweights. His last three losses came to Umar Nurmagomedov, Cody Stamann, and Ricky Simon. All massive prospects, getting a lot of hype right now. And I haven't seen much from Mario, though, to think he gets this one. But apparently somebody thinks he's going to win because he's the favorite. But yeah, that's my pick for fight number 2. Brian Boom Kelleher, we got him. And fight number 3, we got JP Buys versus Cody Durden. Okay, let's see. I picked Cody Durden for this one. JP Buys can't seem to get a win in the UFC. He won on the Contender Series, but then he's lost 2 in a row in the official UFC rankings, and Cody hasn't had much more success in the UFC. He had a draw with Chris Gutierrez, though, and he's pretty good. But he lost 2 and won 1 time against Kaling Aori. Not super familiar with either of these guys, but MMA math kind of tells me JP Buys has to win at some point, right? Maybe. I don't think so, because I'm picking Cody Durden. He's the favorite at 72%. Buys is at 28%. I think Durden gets the win, giving JP his 3rd straight loss in the UFC and possibly his walking papers. But you know, JP is going to give it his all because, I mean, he has to prove a point. This, his career could be on the line. So this should be a great fight. And then we have Raulian Paiva versus Sergey Morozov. Raulian is 57% right now. Sergey is at 43%. And I'm picking Raulian Paiva. The guy's got some notable wins in the UFC. He beat Kyler Phillips and Jalga Zhumbagulov, which are both fucking good fighters. Really good fighters. And I think he comes back hungrier than ever after that loss to Sean O'Malley. I'm not super familiar with Sergey Morozov. He's had 1 win in his last 3 fights, so they, I think they're both coming off losses. Don't quote me on that, because Sergey could have had a 1. That 1 win could have been the last one, but I don't think it was. I think he's coming off a loss. And I know he lost to Umar Nurmagomedov. And Raulian just lost to Sean O'Malley, like I said. So we're going to go with Raulian on this one. And we're moving on. TJ Brown versus Shailin Nurdanbeke. 77% picked TJ Brown, 23% for Shylin. I picked TJ Brown. Like I said before, I'm not super familiar with these folks either. But TJ's on a 2-fight winning streak over Charles Rosa, a great grappler, and Kai Kamaka III, a super well-rounded Hawaiian fighter, under that same coach who does Francis Ngannou, Eric Nixick. And he's a beast, so if this guy could beat him, he should probably get this one in the bag, in my opinion. And like I said, I don't know much about Noonan Beke, but he is coming off a win against Sean Soriano. But before that, he lost to the very good Josh Kulibau. So this one should be action-packed. And I've got TJ Brown for the win. Next, we have Carlos Ulberg versus Tafon Nchukwi. I'm going to go with the Black Jag, Carlos Ulberg, in this one. I think he wins with the striking. Both guys are relatively green in their careers. Tafon 6-2, Carlos 6-1. And if I'm not mistaken, this will be Ulberg's third African opponent in a row now. He lost to Kennedy Nzechukwu, and then he beat Fabio Charant, and now he's fighting Tafon Nchukwi. So I don't know what it is with the matchmakers. They like the Australian Carlos Ulberg. They like to match him up with African fighters. And this guy, Tafon, is a monster. He's got power. He can definitely end it. Carlos, I'm not sure how good his chin is. It looks kind of sketchy in his recent fights, but he got that good win over Fabio Charant. But yeah, Tafon Nchukwi, he got a flying knee KO in his last fight. He's a monster. Got a ton of muscle, and he seems to be able to carry it well within the fights, 3-round fights. And the world might freeze over if this one goes the distance, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a finish. I predicted KO in rounds 1 or 2, maybe 3, but definitely 1 or 2. Someone's getting their lights shut out in this one. So we're going to go with Carlos Ulberg at 73%. He's the favorite. Tafon is 27%. But I could definitely see Tafon winning this and me eating my words. Actually, I just said that, so they wouldn't be eating them. I'd be like, oh, maybe I should have picked him, but I didn't. I picked Carlos because I think the distance, the range, and the striking, and being in Izzy City Kickboxing camp, I think that's what's going to get him the win. A little bit over. They're both similarly new to the UFC, but I think the experience with City Kickboxing is going to do Carlos good. Next up, we have Rodolfo Vieira versus Chris Curtis. Okay, action man, Chris Curtis. This motherfucker is on a 7-fight win streak. His opponent, Rodolfo Vieira, is a tank of a human being, also a superb BJJ champion. But this is MMA, and he's shown to gas out pretty quickly in previous fights. He did get a win over Dustin Stoltzfus after that crazy submission loss to Fluffy Hernandez. Anthony, a.k.a. Anthony Hernandez. That was crazy. It was a crazy fight. He gassed so hard that he just pretty much gave up, and Fluffy got that. I think it was a rear naked choke. It was awesome. So I don't think Dustin Stoltzfus is puts him on the same level as Chris Curtis, who's riding a massive wave right now, and I think he should definitely be able to get his man out of there. Chris Curtis, action man, is the favorite at 66%, and Rodolfo Vieira is 34%. And Rodolfo never really fights. I mean, that Fluffy fight was like, 2-3 years ago? And that was his, and he's only fought once since then. So it's like, I don't know, his strength of schedule is not really there. And I think that's important because Chris Curtis seems to have been fighting a lot recently, and he's on a 7-fight win streak, so you know what I'm saying? Momentum means something in this game most of the time. Okay? Next, we got the biggest favorite on the card, Nate Maness at 9%, going up against Umar Nurmagomedov at 91%. Jesus. Umar is a monster. I'm going to go with the obvious pick. I pick Umar Nurmagomedov. He's just beat Brian Kelleher in his last fight, I think. He's looking every bit as dangerous as his brother Khabib, or cousin. I think it's his brother. But except Umar has a much more fan-friendly style than Khabib. He likes to strike a lot, where Khabib was super controlling, wrestling heavy. Not that Khabib wasn't fun to watch, but, you know, most fans like more stand-up than they do the ground. Most casuals do. Hardcores, we like it all. But, like I said, it's more fan-friendly, and it's fun to watch. And he's a great striker. Good kicks. You know, question mark kicks, spinning kicks, karate techniques mixed with that sambo and Dagestani fucking dog will. Crazy eagle shit. And Nate Maness, I'm not too familiar with him. So, yeah, should be a pretty easy win. But actually, Nate Maness is 14-1, so... And Umar is 14-0, so... It should be a pretty good one. But I ultimately think Umar gets the dub there. Okay? And then next we have Thiago Moises versus Christos Giagos. I picked Thiago Moises. He's a big favorite at 84%. Christos Giagos, 16%. Both very good fighters. Thiago, he lost that one against Islam, I think it was. But he looked kind of, I think he did the best against Islam that we've seen so far. Islam's looked unstoppable, but yeah, Thiago's a G. He throws down. He reminds me of Vicente Luque in the lightweight division because they both have similar styles where they're not scared to get into big wars. But Thiago's, I think, a little more on the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu favoritism side with his skill set. But he does stand and throw and bang. So, and Christos Giagos, he's not very well rounded. He seems kind of sloppy. I'm not super familiar with his fights, but he seems kind of like lanky and falling over the place and shit. But he does bring it. From what I remember, he brings the fight every time. So this one should be very, very good. And I'm gonna go with Thiago on that one. And then here's my lazy pick. It's Josh Parisian versus Alan Baudat. Baudat. I don't know. Baudat's 8-3. Josh Parisian's 14-5. 26% picked Josh. 74% picked Alan Baudat. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did research a little bit on other guys I wasn't familiar with before I made picks. But this one, I'm just going to guess. This is just a straight guess. I'm going with Alan Baudat. I don't know much about either one of them. I've seen Parisian fight once or twice, but nothing stands out for me to remember him very well. And so, yeah, we're going to go with Alan Baudat. And then we have in the co-main event, this one is going to be great. We got Neil Magny versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. Neil Magny, OG veteran, always brings a fight, always fun to watch, mixes it up well. He's only 15% picked, though. And Shavkat Rakhmonov is 85% picked. And I think that makes sense because Shavkat has looked unstoppable. This guy's 15-0. He's only won since he got to the UFC. He only wins fights, but this is definitely the biggest step up in competition we're going to see for him. So this will tell us if he's going to be title contention by end of the year or next year, because if he can get by Neil Magny in the fashion he's been getting by his other opponents, then he's definitely going to be in the top 10 scenario, fighting one of these great guys in the top 5 soon, maybe even, because he's undefeated. I'm not sure which country he comes from, but he wears the fuzzy hat. I think it's Kazakhstan, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to go with Shavkat because I like this guy. They're both really tall for the weight class, but Neil Magny is like a skinny tall, and Shavkat's definitely more dense. So I think he'll have the power advantage, and probably I don't know. I can't say the grappling advantage because Neil Magny's super well rounded, good on the ground, really good in the clinch, really good with knees. His stand up's pretty good. Shavkat's stand up's shown to be pretty good as well. So this should be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to this one. And I'm picking Shavkat Rakhmonov against Neil Magny. And then next we have the main event. Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot. Okay, so in the main event, neither of these guys lose very often. Arman only has 2 losses on his record, and Gamrot only has 1 loss. Arman is a small favorite, but my gut's telling me to pick Mateusz Gamrot for some reason. He's 32%, 68% picked Arman Tsarukyan. I like Arman. He's a good fighter. He's a fun fighter. But I don't know. I just want to go with Mateusz in this one. Gamrot's 1 loss came to Guram Kutatalidze, who just fought Zhalgas Zhumagulov, I think. Could be mistaken. No. He fought Damir, the guy with the eye, and he lost. But that was a great fight, super close. Herb Dean's mistake probably cost Guram the fight. So yeah, if he lost to him, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have picked Arman, but last 3 wins for Mateusz Gamrot: Scott Holtzman, Jeremy Stevens, and Diego Ferreira. And TKO Diego Ferreira, that was a nasty body shot, knee to the body. And Diego's very good, but he made pretty short work of him. And then on Arman's side, he's got a 4-fight, 5-fight winning streak over Dami Ramos, Matt Frivola, Christos Giagos, and Joel Alvarez. A little less known fighters for him, but he's won more, so it's going to be a very hard, very close fight. I kind of want to backtrack now and pick Arman just because looking at the records. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm going to stick to the underdog in this one. I might get it wrong and I might regret it, but hey, there's the review of UFC Fight Night, Tsarukyan versus Gamrot, and I picked Gamrot, Mateusz Gamrot, in the main event. And then the last question, the bonus question, how many strikes will be landed in the main event? I put 333. So if you guys want to bet on my picks, it's totally up to you. Don't get mad if you lose. The last week I went 9-4, so I'll be doing a recap of the card to let you guys know how I did on these picks, so you know in the future if you should go with me or not. And I hope I do well. Last week I went 6-0, and then I just started losing like 3, and I got one, then I lost another one, then I got a couple more. I went 9-4, which was pretty good. I usually do better than 50%. So yeah, let me know, guys, what you think about this fight night. Which fights you looking forward to? Do you agree with my picks? Disagree? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. That's what they're there for. Don't be shy. And one more time, thank you for all the subscribers and people liking and viewing. I appreciate it. And check out Foeonthefights if you like TV and movie reviews, because I watch a bunch of shit and I do reviews every goddamn day. And check out the UFC Foeonthefights, because I talk about what's going on in the news right now with the UFC, with Nate Diaz and the drama, and Conor McGregor and Jake Paul and all that jazz. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.